Hello again, I'm John Turzak, and today I'm going to answer the question how to make blueberry coulis. We've had a coulis in here before, a raspberry that's in the class, and now we're going to make a blueberry one because I'm using it on some cheesecake. That's in a different lesson, of course. But blueberry coulis, again, real quick, the definition of coulis. Coulis is the definitive description for the texture that falls between sauce consistency, which is when a liquid coats a wooden spoon evenly, if you will. That would be the most traditional version of how to describe sauce consistency. And it's the difference between sauce consistency and puree, like mashed potatoes. That's somewhere right in the middle, which is what we're about to make in terms of the blueberry coulis. It's what I always describe it as the texture of baby food, okay? So I have a hot pan back here, and I have a quart of blueberries. And I have a little bit of water, about a little more than half a cup. And I'm going to put the blueberries in here. This pan is hot. Put some water in here, keeping in mind that you can always add more water after the coulis is done, but you can't make it thicker by trying to take it out. You have to start recooking it again. We don't want that. So, got a little blueberry spray here, but that's okay. So, I'm going to add, you add the amount of sugar that you want. I'm going to add about a half a cup. That's enough for me because I don't need my blueberry coulis to be sickeningly sweet. If I'm serving it with something sweet, it'd be nice to have a little refreshing blueberry flavor that isn't like syrupy tasting, you know? And we're going to put a splash of pure vanilla extract in here. I'll put about a tablespoon and a half. And I'm going to put the juice of a half a lemon in here. Now I got a seed I got to get out of there. And I got it. So we're going to let this cook, come to a simmer. It's going to take about 5 minutes. This is going to come to a simmer. Then we're going to put it in the food processor. We're going to puree it. Then we're going to strain it. We don't want any blueberry skins in the coulis. I don't, okay? And we're going to strain it, and then we're going to cool it. I'm going to put it in the fridge and cool it for a while. Then I'm going to bring you back after it gets cold, and I'm going to put it in maybe a squeeze bottle or something like that to show you how you can apply it to the plate or the texture that it should be when you're serving it. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. It'll be about all it's going to take for that to get hot enough to puree. Just shut the blueberries off. They cooked, boiled back here. You can still see them boiling. Just shut them off a minute ago. They're ready to be pureed and then strained and then cooled. Okay, so let's get them in here. Hopefully we won't have any blueberry splashes. They have a tendency to, they have a sense of permanence about them, you know? Okay, so we're going to pulse this a little bit first. It's hot. Okay, now we're just going to run it. Let's take a look. This looks good, and I'm going to puree it a little bit more. Here, let me show you what it looks like. It's thick. Remember, hot pureed blueberry with sugar, when it cools, it thickens, okay? It's hot. Okay. All right, let's get this into the strainer. Let's take our ladle. See what I got here? It's all the pulp here, which I don't want in the coulis. I want this coulis to be nice and smooth. It's almost like liquid pureed blueberry, which is exactly what it is. Okay, now, let's see if I can get this to the sink. Hold on. Almost. All right. Now, I'm going to put this. You can take a look at this texture as I'm doing. You see, it's already sauce consistency. You see, when it gets cold, the worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to adjust the texture with a little bit of liquor or wine or water. I would avoid cream because I want the intensity of the color usually in my blueberry coulis. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. And we're going to come back in a few hours, or maybe I'll let it sit in there tomorrow, and we'll come back and recapture what this is like when it's cold, and we'll put it on a plate, like I said earlier. So there you go. There's your basic blueberry coulis right there. And we'll deal with the how-to parts a little later. Okay. All right, I've allowed the blueberry coulis to cool in the fridge. I transferred it to a squeeze bottle, and I'm going to put some of this on a plate here, just so you can see what that texture is. You see how it's kind of thick and baby foodish? What else can you do with this? You could put a splash of cream in it if you wanted a lighter blue color. But the point is, this is just one small little skills recipe. And by itself doesn't mean anything, but you have 1,000 of these little skills recipes, then that means something. So there you have it. That's blueberry coulis in a nutshell.